Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am Dr. Claudia Albers, Planet X research and professional physicist. And today I'd like to bring to you another one of my articles. This one is entitled Sun Simulated Disclosure. They knew the sun was dying in 1961. Now figure 1 shows some screenshots from a video by Donnie of Daytona entitled Leaked Footage of the Sun Simulating Space. Is it authentic? Published on November 29, 2018. And the video seems to show some dated footage of a sun simulator. However, modern digital video technology seems to have been used to put it together because a modern fade-in technique is used in it. The device appears to be hexagonal in shape, a hexagonal array of reflectors with an arc lamp in front of each reflector. There's the arc lamp, there's a reflector, it's hexagonal in shape as well. And here's the device seen from the side. It is an arm behind it. Now the arm seems to be illuminated by about the same degree as the front, indicating that this was possibly done for the sake of filming the device, because most likely in operation the front would be much brighter than the arm behind it. Now this design is reminiscent of the first sun simulated patent I came across from 1966, and it used reflectors and mercury xenon high pressure arc lamps, and I used that patent to come up with a sun simulated design, which is shown below. And here you can see this sideways view. It's a diagram from the patent which shows the reflectors. These are the reflectors, and these are the lamps, the arc lamps mounted on the back panel. Now, and this patent was by Bosch and Lomb, and here you can see the design diagram, and this is the design I came up with. Now this model does not require a central reflector. This central reflector, hexagonal reflector, and the lamp would not be needed because there's a mirror in front of it, and because there's a hole right through these two mirrors. And so, but the one shown in figure 1, if this is the complete sun simulator, there is no need to leave out that central one. This just does not make any sense, because that would decrease the amount of light this device would be able to emit. So that just does not make any sense. So that means that either that device is the back panel for the 1966 model, or this is hoax. Now this is what a mercury xenon high pressure arc lamp looks like. This is the larger model of these. There are some smaller ones, and it seems to be about 30 centimeters in length. Its diameter would thus be only half of that, so about 15 centimeters or 6 inches. And that means that we can calculate the length of the side here. There are 5 of them. Each reflector seems to be about 5 times larger than the lamp in the center. So that would mean that each reflector would be 75 centimeters in length, but we're going to make each about 100 centimeters or 1 meter in length to get the maximum possible size. That would mean 40 inches for each of these, and that means that this length would be about 5 meters in length. And so that's 17 feet. And this is basically too small to properly simulate the sun. Its angular width would be only about 0.057 if placed at an altitude of 10 kilometers, that's cloud altitude, whereas the real sun's angular width would have been 0.53 degrees or 10 times greater. And as you can see, there are 60 lamps and reflectors in the simulator. So basically this is a very small device, and most likely just a prototype, if anything. And this is one of the devices that have been photographed in the Earth's atmosphere amongst the clouds, so at cloud altitude. And this seems to be an array of hexagonal mirrors. But it did have 90 of them in it because it has 6 across. They may, however, be much larger than the reflectors here. because they don't seem to have lamps in them. So we're not sure what size that is, but it seems to be larger than this one. Now this is the simulator that was designed in Germany. It has 161 reflectors and lamps. So this one was much larger. So that again suggests that sun simulator was a bit too small. Thus the sun simulation device in figure 1 is too small to simulate the sun. So because its angular width at cloud altitude will only be 1/10 of the sun's. It may however be possible to use it if a large magnifying lens is placed in front of it, but a magnification of more than 5, and it would require 10, would be too much to expect. So this device could only have been a prototype, and the hole in the center suggests that it was not even that. It could however have been a back panel for the 1966 patent design, but that design had a fatal flaw in it, which indicates that it was not a working model either. The patent may have been based on something real, but the fatal flaw indicated that the patent was fake and meant to be used as NASA type disclosure, i.e. to tell the truth through lying. And what did they want to disclose? Well, the 1966 patent was actually filed in 1961. As you can see here, it says filed January 31, 1961. And the fatal flaw was the fact that this mirror was concave in the diagram. It had to be, it was convex, but it had to be concave. A convex mirror is diverging, so that means the light would diverge from this point. But light is supposed to converge to go through this hole. So a convex mirror there would not work. It had to be concave, and I made it concave in the design that I made. So this suggests that it was already known by 1961 that the sun was dying, and that sun simulators were going to be needed to replace it. Since anti-gravity drives became available around the time of or shortly after the Second World War, it should not be surprising that the sun's true state became known before 1961. And you may look at article 411 entitled Connection Between NASA and the Secret Space Program for more details. Then in article 446 entitled When Did They Find Out That the Sun Was Dying, I showed that they must have known that there was something wrong with the sun and that the comets had something to do with it by the end of 1985. Now it seems that they knew way before then that the sun was dying, i.e. by 1961. So as I mentioned, this fatal flaw, and no one knowing anything about geometric optics would make this kind of error. And this was Bosch and Lomb. They're supposed to know everything there is to know about lenses. So this was done on purpose, and that means that this was not a real patent. It may have been based on a real model, a real design, but it was meant to disclose something. And that was most likely the date of 1961. So in conclusion, the video footage showing a sun simulator seems to be a form of deception, as it was made to look old whilst new digital techniques were used in it. The device is also too small, so it could only have been a prototype. But the missing central reflector being missing does not make sense unless it was the back panel for the 1966 model, which also was not real as it had an obvious design flaw. However, the date on this patent suggests that the powers that be are disclosing that by 1961 they already knew that the sun was dying and had started working on sun simulators to replace it. Those are the references. This is Dr. Claudia Albers, Planet X physicist. Thank you for watching.